Have you ever played a game where the camera just feels perfect? It's tracking the action, it's smoothly anticipating every single move you make. Well, that's the magic of a professional camera system. And trying to code that by hand, honestly, it's a total nightmare. But that's exactly where Cinemachine comes in. Today, we're going to build a dynamic, intelligent follow camera just like the pros use. And the best part? We're going to do it all right inside the Unity editor without writing a single line of code. So, here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about why Cinemachine is such a massive deal. Then, we'll break down the two main ideas you need to get. After that, it's all hands-on. We're going to install the package, create our very first camera, and then, this is the fun part, we're going to fine-tune its behavior until it feels just right. And we'll wrap up with a little challenge so you can really make these skills your own. Okay, let's jump right in. To really get why Cinemachine is so awesome, you first have to understand the problem it's built to solve. Think about it. In any game, the camera is your window into that world. A bad camera feels clunky, it's frustrating, but a great camera just disappears and it lets you get completely lost in the experience. So on the left, you've got your standard Unity camera. It's fine, but it's static. It feels robotic, kind of lifeless. But on the right, that's the Cinemachine difference. This camera isn't just glued to the character, it's smart. It's got a personality. It knows how to anticipate movement, easing into turns, and it's always working to frame the action in the most cinematic way possible. It feels less like a piece of code and more like a professional camera operator is right there with you. And this is the bottom line. Cinemachine basically turns everyone on your team, your artists, your designers, even you, into a camera director. You're not stuck tweaking variables in a script anymore. You are literally sculpting the player's experience in real time, right in the editor. This is a total game changer for gameplay cameras, and it is just unbelievably powerful for crafting those cool cinematic cutscenes. Now, to really get the most out of Cinemachine, you just have to understand two core components. The whole system is built on this really elegant, simple relationship between what's called the Cinemachine brain and one or more virtual cameras. First up, we've got the Cinemachine brain. The easiest way to think about this is that it's the director. It's a component that you add to your one and only main camera in the scene, and its job is to listen for instructions and then physically move that camera around. It's the central command center that handles all the logic, especially the super smooth blending between different camera shots. Okay, so if the brain is the director, where does it get its instructions? Well, they come from virtual cameras. Now, these are not actual cameras. They don't render anything to the screen. Think of them more like blueprints or a set of rules for a specific camera shot. Each one defines things like who to follow, how to frame them, maybe even how much camera shake to add. And you can have dozens of these in your scene, each one ready for a different moment. And here's how it all clicks together. The brain, which lives on your main camera, is the manager. It's always looking at all the virtual cameras in the scene. It picks the one that's currently the most important, the one with the highest priority, and then it just applies that camera's rules to the main camera. This separation of the brain from the rules is really the secret sauce. It lets you design camera shots like they're modular, reusable building blocks. All right, theory's over. Time to get our hands dirty. Cinemachine doesn't actually come installed with Unity by default, so we need to grab it from Unity's package manager. Don't worry, this is super quick. It's a one-time setup for your project, and then you're good to go forever. First things first, just go up to the top menu bar, click on Window, and then select Package Manager. This is going to open up Unity's big library of official tools and packages. Okay, now this next step is super important, so don't miss it. At the top of that window, you have to click the little drop-down that says In Project and change it to Unity Registry. This is what lets you see all the packages that are available to download, not just the ones you already have in your project. Now, that list is going to be huge, so don't bother scrolling. It's way faster to just use the search bar in the top right corner. Just type in Cinemachine and it'll pop right up. Once you see the Cinemachine package in the list, just select it, and then in the bottom right corner of the window, you'll see a big Install button. Go ahead and click that, and Unity will take care of the rest. You'll know the installation is all done when that Install button suddenly changes to say Remove. That's your signal that Cinemachine is installed and totally ready to go. We can close the package manager now and get to the really fun stuff. So, with the package installed, it is time to see the magic happen. We're about to create our very first virtual camera and set up a basic but professional-grade follow camera in literally just a few clicks. Okay, over in your hierarchy window, just right-click, and you'll see a brand new menu item for Cinemachine. Hover over that and then select Virtual Camera. Now, check this out. The moment you create that virtual camera, Unity does something really smart for you behind the scenes. It automatically finds your main camera and adds that necessary Cinemachine brain component to it. It just knows you're going to need it, which is an awesome little time saver.
And you can even see it for yourself. Just click on your main camera object. If you look over in the inspector, you'll see that the Cinemachine brain component is attached, and it's all ready to start managing our new virtual camera.
Now, let's get into a good habit right away. Select that new camera object in the hierarchy. It's probably called something like CM VCam1. Let's rename it to something that makes more sense, like VC Follow Camera. Trust me, clear naming will save you a ton of headaches later. All right, now select our VC Follow Camera and take a look at the inspector. You're going to see a whole bunch of properties, but the very first and most important one we need to deal with is the follow target. Right now it's empty, which means the camera has no idea what it's supposed to be looking at.
To make that connection, all you have to do is find your player object in the hierarchy. For us, it's this object called ball, and literally just click and drag it right into that empty follow slot in the inspector.
And believe it or not, that's it. Let's hit the play button. Just by dragging one object into one field, our camera is now intelligently following our ball. And notice, it doesn't just snap to the ball's position. See that subtle, professional-looking smoothing as it kind of catches up? That feeling, that damping, as it's called, you get that completely for free, right out of the box. Okay, that basic follow is already a massive improvement. But the real power of Cinemachine is how deep the customization goes. So now we're going to dive into the settings that really let you define your camera's personality. We're going to learn how to create a look ahead, how to define a dead zone for more precise control, and how to adjust the damping to make the camera feel absolutely perfect. Back in the inspector for our VC Follow camera, find the section called Body. This whole section controls how the camera follows the target. The default setting is Transposer, which is great for 3D games. But for a 2D or 2.5D game where the composition of the shot is really important, we want more control. So let's change this to Framing Transposer. This algorithm is amazing because it thinks like a camera operator, always trying to keep the target within a specific part of the frame that we get to define. So let's solve a really common problem in games. Our ball is always moving forward, right? The player doesn't care about what's behind them. They need to see what's coming up. So how can we shift the camera's focus to actually look ahead of the player instead of just keeping them stuck in the dead center of the screen? Well, the answer is incredibly simple. It's just one number. Now that we have the framing transposer selected, we get a bunch of new composition controls. The one we care about for this is screen X. So a value of 0.5 means the dead center of the screen. A value of 0 is the far left edge, and 1 is the far right. To give our player a better view of the path ahead, we want to push the ball over to the left side of the frame. So let's try a value of 0.25. And just look at the difference that one simple change makes. On the left, with the default of 0.5, half of our screen real estate is just wasted space behind the player. But on the right, with our screen X at 0.25, the composition is so much more effective and useful. But hey, let's not stop there. What if we don't want the camera to react to every single tiny little movement? That's where something called the dead zone comes in. If you increase the dead zone width, a little box appears on the screen. As long as our ball stays inside that box, the camera won't move at all. It gives the player some wiggle room. And outside that box is the soft zone, which basically determines how lazily the camera decides to catch up. A tiny soft zone feels really tight and responsive. A really big one feels floaty and relaxed. Mastering these three settings, Screen X, Dead Zone, and Soft Zone, is how you truly craft your camera's unique personality. All right, we have covered the why, the how, and the fine-tuning. Now it's your turn to step into the director's chair. I've got a quick little challenge for you to really lock in everything we just learned. So here's your challenge. Open up a brand new scene and build exactly what we just did from scratch. Go through the steps, install Cinemachine, create a virtual camera, set its follow target, then change the body to framing transposer and create that nice look ahead effect. But please don't stop there. The real learning comes from experimenting. Play with the dead zone and the soft zone. Mess with the damping values. See for yourself how tweaking each of those numbers completely changes the entire feel of your game. Seriously, the best way to learn this stuff is just to get in there and play. We've just built one simple but really effective follow camera. But honestly, this is just scratching the surface. So what are you going to create next? Maybe a camera that only starts moving when the player leaves a specific area? Or a shaky cam for explosions using the noise profile? What about a camera that can smoothly transition its focus between multiple different targets? Now that you understand the fundamentals of the brain in virtual cameras, the power to direct your game's entire visual story is quite literally in your hands.